Well, Kristen, it is that time again.
Yes, Laura.
Time for
Traitor.
The Traitor. So, The Traitors, episode 9. Wait, I'm flipping a bird. I'm flipping a bird, however you want to say it, just flipping in general. However, I think next week's it.
Is it?
I think it's the last episode, if not the penultimate episode.
Oh.
And then, but I swear.
Is it 10 episodes?
I think it's only 10. And then I think that 11 is a reunion. But I could be wrong. Can someone let us know if somebody's listening and say, or watching, would you just drop a comment and let us know? I mean, I could look it up, but part of me is terrified because I don't want it to be over.
I don't either.
Because I love this show so much. And I'm like, oh no, it's only like the second month of the year.
Yeah.
And my favorite show is already over.
Yeah.
I have to wait another year.
Oh, God. It's going to be torture to wait. I don't want it to end.
I don't either. But we focus in on the traitors in the turret.
Oh, yes.
Danielle wants to recruit, because we left off. Is it seduction or murder? Danielle, of course, wants to seduce and bring in her good pal, Brittany. Carolyn says, no effing way. She's like, no way. I'd be crazy to do so. I love
the way she talks.
I love Carolyn so much.
So do I.
I want Carolyn to move to our neighborhood, and I want her to be friends with us and just make cookie faces.
Make these
she's
crazy
the best.
faces and have drinks with us.
She's the greatest. I absolutely love her, and I love how of an original she is, and I just love everything about her.
Yeah, I do too.
But Carolyn is a super smarty and says, no way. Danielle says, we will make sacrifices. I will make sacrifices to win Carolyn's trust.
Oh, God.
Really? Really?
Come
Danielle,
on.
you are the absolute worst. Unappealing, terrible player. And of course, I sent this to you. Carolyn on her Instagram was sitting there with the brown hat, that hat she was wearing, that rotten ass. It's like some sort of deranged bowler hat.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what it is, but it's
know.
terrible. And Carolyn was on her Instagram doing like a
Making
Scottish
fun.
poem that she wrote. It was genius. And she's like, that JCPenney hat she has on going there. Anyhow, Danielle.
I'm gonna make fun of Danielle all the time.
Let's make fun of her the whole time. So they go with murder.
I agreed with it because
I do
if
too.
they weren't going to agree to recruit someone other than Brittany,
They
then no.
I would have, if it was me, I would have recruted Dylan
So would I.
all day long.
Totally.
And it would have been interesting.
He would have added a better dynamic to the traitor strategy. Because he's so smart.
And also, Danielle's got to be going down the next couple of, if not the next episode.
She's
because
overrated,
It was
too.
fighting. The two of them were fighting back and forth. Don't you think now they're going to all go next time up? It's up. Now it's you, Danielle. Carolyn made some really good, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So Danielle says, kill Dylan. Carolyn says, no. Maybe Sam? Who knows? We don't know.
They were floating her.
They were floating around Dolo.
Yeah.
And Carolyn says, I don't trust Danielle, and she doesn't trust me. It's a matter of who can get who first. Okay. Now we cut to the breakfast room, of course, where it all goes down. And Gabby and Carolyn jump in there first. And
Gabby is starting to say that she's on to Danielle.
which is fabulous.
Which is great. I think Gabby's very smart. She's really, really smart.
I agree.
She's playing this game so smart.
And she was like, she's like, I'm not, didn't she say like she didn't buy Danielle's of like, why would I kill off my friends? Why would that? She said that's kind of traitorous behavior, right?
Yeah.
Like, why would she?
Right.
I don't know. She said it just, I don't know, wasn't sitting with her. And then Sandoval and Britney are safe. And
I have to admit, I was happy to see Sandoval.
I'm sort of happy to see him too. It brings that Bravo business.
It does, and he just adds a comic relief to this show that is very entertaining.
He's definitely turned out to be the little court jester over there. That's for sure.
I think so.
So Ivar and Danielle come in.
Do you like Ivar? I don't know what I think of him.
Ivar, I think Brittany said it last week, which was right. Like, all Ivar does is make tea and deliver it from room to room.
Yeah.
And they showed him walking up the steps. He really doesn't have a lot to say, but they showed him walking up the steps and he goes, I feel a cup of tea coming on. I'm like, what was that all you freaking, he must piss like a racehorse.
Oh, God, right?
He's always freaking drinking tea. But I think he's just kind of a waste.
I kind of do too. He's literally just there to me.
Oh, and this was great though. I thought this was the absolute most false statement I've ever heard Danielle say.
Yeah.
Danielle says she's 20 steps ahead and of anybody at any time.
Nah.
Really, Danielle? Danielle,
Okay.
you are a quarter.
She thinks she's
you
20
are
steps
half
ahead.
a mile, if not a full mile, behind the rest of the world.
She is.
Like, are you kidding? You're 20 steps ahead. Go away.
Yeah.
Boston Rob
Yeah.
is 50 steps ahead. You're nowhere to be found.
No.
So who comes?
I think they made a mistake choosing her as a traitor. She's a horrible
Well,
traitor.
I guess they didn't realize it until
Maybe they thought she was smarter than she is, or she was a better
it's not even
strategist
that
than
she's
she is.
just insane. The crying. Oh, and Gabby was like, that crying. Like,
Give me a break.
Can't get into the crying.
I can't wait to talk about the end, what she did. We'll talk about it.
Oh my God.
I just wanted to throw something at the TV.
Me too. I think I did.
Ugh.
I had a few pillows that I was ready to tear up. So now we see that Dolores shows up. She did a hard knock on the door, trying to make it seem like she was
a guy.
Someone else. Yeah, because now we're down to Dylan and Sam. So
I was expecting it to be Dylan.
I was too. The fact that Dylan has made it this far, he must be so charismatic in person.
Oh my God.
Because it's jumping off the screen at me.
Oh, it is. Totally.
So he must be so charismatic that nobody just wants to get rid of him.
I would say he's the standout out of the entire cast.
Totally. He's gonna have a career after this.
Oh,
like,
for
I don't know if he wants one.
He did something before,
he
whatever
did something,
it was.
But
some show.
He's not leveraging the fact that he's Zach's brother.
No, he's not.
He should be leveraging that more, but now maybe we'll see more.
Yeah, he stands good on his own.
Yeah, no, he's a honey pie.
Oh, he is.
I think he's so cute.
He's a honey pie.
I like him. So we're down to Dylan and Sam. So spoiler alert, if you don't want to know who died, turn down the volume, shut off the TV. I mean, shut off YouTube or what have you. But Kristen, who showed up?
Dylan.
Dylan shows up. That means Sam Ashgari is murdered.
Yeah. I was genuinely surprised. I really thought they were going to murder Dylan. I love that music.
Because
he's too good at the game.
Like
yeah.
And then we see Sam getting the order from the traitor that he's been murdered.
Aww,
he was expecting it.
He was starting to come into his own.
I was starting to really like him.
Me too. And he's smarter than I thought he was.
Yep, he was just a
listener and an observer.
That's the way to start out.
Yeah.
That's generally, I mean, people will always say, oh, to me, like through my whole life, oh, you're so outgoing and blah, blah, blah. But when I tell you, if I'm in a huge group of people and I'm not quiet.
Yeah.
But generally, I am sitting back and just seeing what's happening.
Taking it in.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right? You're not going to see me be the screamer or the loudest first. Like, no way.
Right.
You got to see who's around, what people are doing.
You got to read the room.
You got to read the room.
Yes. And he was reading the room for quite a few episodes. But he came out to show us who he was, and he was a good player, and he was smart. So I'm going to miss him.
I'll miss him, too.
I think Ivar's going to miss him. Ivar and him
I'm
had a
not going to miss
that
the teeth he was wearing in his hair to hold his hair
back.
Those things hurt so bad.
It was like that headband piece.
Yeah, the headband that's got the teeth, and it just takes your hair and, like, puts it into sections.
Yeah.
Anytime I put those in my hair, I'm always like, ow. These hurt. So every time I'd see him walk in with it, pulling his hair back, I'd be like, that's got to hurt.
Yeah.
So now, temporarily, even though he is passed away, I believe Pee Wee Herman showed up as Alan to come in there. He looked like a Pee Wee Herman Baby New Year knockoff.
I wrote down he looked like a Dr. Seuss character.
Yes, that is true too. So it could be a threesome.
But Pee Wee is good.
He reminded me of Pee Wee, and then the Baby New Year with the little,
I love
the little baby pony at the top. And I love, of course, Alan says that Sam was deadlifted to the eternal gym in the sky.
Good.
And then the red and white suit with the kilt. And the Baby New Year hair, I really loved it.
Oh, I know. I love his looks. He could do no wrong.
I'm telling you, I would love to know who's making those clothes. They're fabulous.
They're absolutely fabulous.
So now,
do you think they don't dress the players? Do they? Like they bring their own clothes?
No, but Sandoval did lose his luggage. But wait, this was hilarious.
Did he?
I heard.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Wait a minute. He lost his luggage for the first week, and somebody just said, what was it, Dolores or was it Brittany? I was listening to somebody on a podcast, and they said, "Oh, when Sandoval shows up, like he's like now he's in his kilt with his sunglasses, like he shows up looking like I don't know, Tom Cruise, and I don't know that he's gotten his suitcase back,
okay,
because that sweater where he was pitting out that wolf,
yeah,
all of those were not his clothes.
Okay,
I knew they weren't going to be his clothes. I'm like, Sandoval would never wear a big sweater like that.
No, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, so
I didn't realize he lost his luggage. Okay,
he lost his
because he does have those zany clothes. That he wears.
So
yeah,
I guess by these episodes the luggage has arrived, and we're seeing Tom in his usually in his teeny weeny pants and his teeny weeny outfits. So now we get a little gameplay before the mission.
Okay,
and Sandoval says lack of fear in Dolo.
He's still on Dolores. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know why he keeps thinking it's her.
I don't know why.
Is he explaining it?
Dolores was actually on with Sheena Shea on her podcast.
She was? Oh, I got to hear it.
For maybe 15 minutes, and they were talking about it, and she was like, look, I just think Sandoval likes the attention.
Yeah.
And she was like, that's what he's all about. And then she was talking about the luggage, but I've heard the luggage story before.
Okay.
And then she's just like, I was just pissed at him because he keeps coming after me. So that's why I voted for him. Like,
like,
she's
you come for me, I come for you.
Yeah. So I don't know. So we'll see. And then Dolores, of course, is saying to Danielle that she's played a great game. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, God.
Dolores
so she really
and Danielle
believes,
are good friends.
Right. So
she'll never suspect Danielle.
Right. And then she says,
Danielle's
she's not
really working her way around to make really good friends with these people.
It seems
but she'll
that
just
she
stab
has.
you right in the back.
But then she said she's not playing this game in fear anymore, and she tells Dolores to remember that traitors attack at the round table, which I thought was so traitorous of a thing to say. Like, it's
correct,
so random.
Yeah.
Like, just like, oh, remember, traitors attack. What? Oh, because Carolyn's going to come and attack her.
Yeah, right.
Whatever. She's trying to be
I guess she was trying to make the point about Boston Rob versus Bob the drag queen, but like, I don't know. I mean,
well, somebody even said it after this week's roundtable. They said, oh, God, when Danielle and we'll get there, Carolyn are going back and forth, that it gave Bob the drag queen and Rob vibes.
Yeah.
Because they were both traitors going after each other.
Right.
Gabby and Dylan. Dylan wants to be friends with Gabby now.
Yeah.
And they both think it's Danielle.
Yeah.
They're on her.
Yes. The two smarties. They're onto it.
And Dylan thinks... Dylan says he thinks it's Danielle to Carolyn. Mm-hmm. So I think this was Carolyn's wet. Now Carolyn's going, oh boy, is it time?
Yeah.
Should I do it now?
Right. Do I work this?
Is it too soon to turn on Danielle again?
Yeah.
I don't know. Brittany said she would vomit if Danielle didn't come back. She would absolutely vomit. And she was crying. And then Danielle, of course, was like, I was crying. They were having this in front of the fireplace, and they were off. They were so sad.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. She's crying about being a traitor and hurting Britney.
Yeah.
It's a game, you big dum-dum.
There we go with the crying again from Danielle.
Brittany said, are you going to go for Carolyn? And Danielle says, wait for the round table. So Danielle wants Carolyn out so she can recruit Brittany, which is how we kind of leave it off at the end. But
she's she's on a mission. Like, she just wants Brittany on her team.
And wasn't Brittany the one who screwed her?
Yes, in Big Brother or whatever. When the season first started, it showed they hated each other.
Right, because she booted
hated.
Her. I think she booted.
Brittany.
I think she booted Danielle out.
She did, yeah. She turned on Danielle. So, yeah, these two are.
So now they're best buddies, and she's crying as if it's her long lost lover. So the mission: a human chessboard or chess pieces. He looked like a human chess piece. Oh my God.
I love that
pieces,
hair.
The chess pieces in the hair.
It was great.
Oh my God. It looked like a crown.
Oh,
made out of chess pieces.
I was thinking again about like Statue of Liberty, but it was like a crown in his hair.
Well, her crown, right. Oh,
yeah,
it was fabulous. It was fabulous.
It was
and the black and white coat.
Yes.
Over the other, I like how he adds to the outfit from the breakfast room. He always embellishes on it.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So who shows up For the third season in a row, our friend Kate Chastain.
Of course.
Do you watch Below Deck from Below Deck?
I have not. I watch it here and there, but I'm not an avid watcher, and I know it's amazing.
Well, you got to watch the early ones. I don't watch it anymore because they're just not the Kate.
Kate's not on there, right, anymore?
Kate was on there for quite a while. Captain Lee, Kate, Ben.
Yeah.
Those were fabulous.
Yes.
Baby, this has been on a long time now.
Yeah.
And our friend Parvati.
Now, I thought it was possibly going to be Phaedra.
Wait, was Parvati?
But Parvati was last season.
Right. Okay.
Right? Yeah, she was last season.
For a minute, I'm like, was she there earlier in this season? No, it was last season.
It was, yeah.
And they are the queens of the game.
Yes. Okay, so it was good to see the both of them. Now, Parvati hosts something with Boston Rob right now, doesn't she?
No. Boston Rob and her were both on Deal or No Deal Island.
That's it.
But they weren't on the same season. Parvati is on this season on Deal or No Deal Island. You can tell that I spend a lot of time watching the reality shows, the game shows. I love the game.
The games are the best.
Love them.
Yeah.
So she's on there now.
Yeah.
And Alan says to Kate, "You've been here so much, Kate, that Fergus thinks we're an item." I thought that was cute.
But it was a briefer appearance than I thought it was going to be with the two of them, because last season they recruited them in anyway. So
Kate is great TV, and they clearly know it.
Yeah,
she's just.
But they didn't even
good
in that.
They didn't even promote it that she was going to be there. Yeah, like she just showed up. She just showed up. One in black, one in white.
Yes.
And who is slithering under the radar? We find out. So basically, they have these pieces that are coming up. And the first one is a slithering snake piece. By the way, this whole setup reminded me, I don't know if you're a Harry Potter fan. I don't know if there's any Harry Potter fans
I haven't really
listening.
watched them. I know Harry Potter, but
I love the Harry Potter movies. And in the first movie, the Sorcerer's Stone, they have a wizard's chest, it's called. And it's basically like the pieces move, and it was very reminiscent of what happened here. It was totally...
Maybe they got it from that?
Absolutely.
Oh, my gosh.
The piece moves, and I thought that was genius, though. I loved watching the traitor move around the board. So they basically had to ask a question.
Yeah.
About and see how the traitors would have answered it.
Right. And you see, and it goes back to the turret the night before, and how Carolyn and Danielle were choosing.
Are answering the questions.
Yeah.
Right. They don't want to give themselves away. So the first one is who's slithering under the radar, and they came up with it's Britney, bitch.
I don't know. Britney to me doesn't seem like she is, but
well, maybe I think it's because she's being quiet, and I think they're kind of looking at it that way.
Right.
But then again, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
What made them all say that, but they clearly were in agreement. Mm-hmm. And then the skull piece, who's the biggest threat to the traitors? And Tom votes for himself. You big dummy.
Of course he's going to vote for himself.
Oh, my God. He's so dumb.
He's so...
Brittany again. So Brittany again.
Brittany again.
I wonder if it's just because she's the gamer, and I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe she has a little bit of cred.
I just think she's overrated. In that,
I don't see anything.
Game.
I don't see anything spectacular about her.
No, she's almost as annoying as Danielle to me.
And then they have the wolf piece. Yeah, who is the leader of the pack?
Yeah,
traitors say Tom.
Tom. Okay.
Tom says himself again.
Again, of course he does.
They guess
but
wrong.
It's a compliment to Tom.
It is.
They all think he is the leader of the pack.
They guess wrong.
Yeah.
It's Dylan. Wrong.
Dylan definitely is.
Yeah, I think Dylan's the leader. Yeah. But, you also don't want to be seen as the leader of the pack. But, I mean, the game is dwindling now. So it's not a terrible thing. In the beginning, that would really hurt you.
Yes.
No money banked yet. Tom says he always felt like a lone wolf.
Yes.
But watching that traitor slide along the board was really creepy.
It was very creepy.
It was so Harry Potter, though.
Okay. Now I got to see the movie.
Well, it's just that happens at the end, but I'm like, oh my God, it's the wizard's chest. Wizard's chest. Dolores says Carolyn was on it, that it was Tom, and this is where we feel that Carolyn's where
she
they
outed
feel
herself.
That right. Dolores says, I'm not accusing you of being a traitor. And Ivar says, well, yes, you are. And now Dylan says everything that Carolyn says he's going to watch, because she was like, well, why not say Tom? Because I think she was trying to bank some money for them.
Right. Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Because she knew the answers, obviously. But they were like, And I was interested that Dolores picked up on that. She did.
Yeah.
And then Ivar and then Dylan's like, now I'm watching everything she does.
Yeah.
He's watching very closely.
Yes.
And the final piece,
she was starting to get nervous, Carolyn. You could tell.
Like,
oh,
no.
Shit. Oh, shit.
Oh, God. What did I do? With the faces.
Her eyes are all over the place.
Love it. The mouse piece. Whose voice is the most irrelevant?
Irrelevant.
That's so sad. And Carolyn says it's me.
Yeah, I know. But a fitting choice, right? Because
well, she's always saying it and shouting it.
Yeah.
So Dylan said this might be another clue for Carolyn.
Yeah.
And by the way, I thought it was interesting that Dylan said she thinks she's the only one who's irrelevant. Like, we don't think that.
Yeah.
But she thinks it. And that's how she would have answered the question.
Yeah, right.
Right? She just might have framed herself, basically, is what he said. And Dylan ends up voting for her at the round table, so I guess so. Anyway, Dylan's like, there's a lot of evidence. Danielle's a traitor, but now he's thinking of Carolyn.
Yes. He hasn't thought about Carolyn at all this whole time.
None of them had.
So it's
if they were,
a few people are looking at Carolyn.
If they were a decent group of traitors, and if Danielle wasn't such a jackhole the way she played this game, Carolyn would have made it all the way to the end.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Easily. No one was going to suspect her.
No one was.
Unless she messed it up herself. But there was just, Danielle was just working against her the whole time.
Yeah. So Dylan has a talk with Carolyn and tells her it's going to break his heart if it's her. So Dylan is up front with Carolyn.
Right.
This is after the game is over and everything, and they're talking.
Oh, it was funny, though, when Carolyn says she's overthinking, rethinking, what if Danielle sets me up? And then she's like, ah! I was like, she's like, I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out.
Everything was really working in Carolyn's favor.
It really
was.
Up
until this point.
Up until this episode. But I'm telling you, Danielle was just the fly in the ointment, man.
She was.
The monkey in the wrench.
Yeah.
She just would not.
She wants to punish her because she didn't let her choose Brittany to join them.
For those of you, did you just catch that quote that I just quoted from Die Hard? Fly in the ointment, Hans. A monkey in the wrench. I don't know if anybody picked that up, but I'm outing myself that I took that from Die Hard.
Okay,
one of my all-time favorite
I'm
movies.
embarrassed to say I never saw Die Hard.
Oh my God, this is my favorite. This is one of my favorite movies. I think I've seen it 7,000 times. It's my favorite Christmas movie. And it's
the first one or like all of them?
First one.
Okay.
Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Not Die Hard.
God, where have I been? I love movies, but
Die Hard.
I have not seen this one either.
Kristen, we've got to watch
it's
it.
A classic.
Because it takes place on Christmas Eve. So everybody thinks it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Even though it's not, because it's just about, oh, but it's the greatest movie. Anyway, so that was a little Die Hard trivia threw in there.
Yeah.
Ivar is suspicious of Danielle.
Yeah.
Carolyn says, and the lie. And I don't know what she's talking about, the lie, too. Like why would... Oh, I know what she was talking about.
I got lost with this
She was basically saying, why would she have to lie? If she wasn't a traitor, she wouldn't have to lie. If you're faithful, you don't need to lie. And she was saying something. You know what? This kind of went over me a little bit. Even though I got what she was saying in the moment. Now I'm like, what? But she was just basically saying, because I think at one round table, Danielle had said something like, well, I had to lie about it or something. Look, she wasn't all that prepared with her, And that was actually, well, let's get to the round table. So,
oh God. Well, the only other thing I was going to say is, Ivar tells Danielle that Carolyn was floating her name. This is after Ivar was thinking it was Danielle. Like he reveals to Danielle, like, oh yeah, Carolyn is mentioning you.
Yeah.
Why would he do that? I mean, because that just got her all fired up even more. I mean, she was planning to gun for Carolyn anyway. But that just revved her up. So
and Ivar and Tom say if Carolyn is a traitor, she deserves an Oscar.
Yeah,
she certainly does.
And then Danielle compares Carolyn to Columbo, because Columbo was the quote unquote dumb private investigator that no one would think would figure it out. And he's really smart.
He had the fisheye. It was a Peter
Sellers.
No, not Peter.
No,
Sellers.
not Peter Sellers.
Peter Falk.
Peter Falk.
He was Columbo. Most of the people listening here, or most of the people in the house, would not know who Columbo is.
No, they would not.
I mean, we barely know. That
You'd
was
have to be
before our
born
time.
in the 70s or the 60s
You
to know.
really the 60s to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we don't even really know that. Anyway.
But she does make that comparison. No one suspected he would solve things because he did not seem smart. And that's what she's categorizing Carolyn as. Now, that's really insulting, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
She's just terrible.
Danielle. Yeah. And by the way, Carolyn is run circles around you, honey.
Oh, my God.
Circles.
She's 1,000 times smarter and a better game player than Danielle.
So now we get to the round table. Players.
So
the floor is yours.
Ivar speaks first.
Well, hold on. I just want to backtrack to Alan's awesome outfit. The sequin chessboard. I don't know what it was, like a kind of drapey top. Then with like the George Washington shirt. Yeah. It was a blouse that was like a turtleneck with lacy frills on the collar.
Yeah.
Looked like it would be very uncomfortable. It almost looked like a turtleneck, but it was a blouse.
But he just carries it so well.
Oh, he's so fabulous. I just
We
can't.
just gush over this guy.
All right. So go with what you were saying. The floor is yours.
So Ivar does speak first, and he says I think the traitors are definitely two girls.
Unbelievable.
So I think
that's
he's
his whole
right.
theory.
Obviously,
he is right.
But he's completely set on that. And then Carolyn speaks and says, "Okay, well, I think it's Danielle."
Carolyn goes for and she said, "A faithful. We don't have a reason to lie." Oh, and then I'm saying, what was the lie? I keep asking myself, what is the lie she's talking about? But I think it was just.
I know. I was the same thing. We'd have to go back a few to figure out what.
I think it was just.
She's talking about.
I remember Danielle saying something about. I had to say that because I can't remember what it was. If anybody, Danielle, you do things people ignore and treated are aggressive. Tom says Carolyn's never been aggressive.
Right.
And Danielle's been quiet. The whole time. She said, have I not? Oh, I know. She said, have I not been quiet the last 3 days? And when she was like mounting her defense against Carolyn, she's saying, haven't I been quiet? Because I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid she was going to murder me. Because I know she's a traitor, blah, blah, blah. She's the silent assassin. That's because that was the name of the episode. And poor Carolyn said she doesn't need to lie. She's being ignored and she's crying. She's not an assassin. She's great. I mean, she's great. I love her.
And then Danielle, again, she goes for, she's doing this Forrest Gump thing. And she's acting all dumb.
Did they say Forrest Gump?
She did.
Who said Forrest Gump?
Danielle.
I missed that.
Oh, it bothered me so much because
horrible.
it's very insulting.
That is insulting.
I just think this woman is a vile human being. Sorry.
That is just below the belt.
It is so below the belt.
How come nobody brought that up?
And she goes this far, like basically saying this is like a Forrest Gump act that she's putting on.
Horrible.
And then Dylan goes, this isn't an act. I know Carolyn, this is not an act.
And you know what my husband said?
She's not an
it's
act.
Interesting Carolyn's crying. And I said, those tears are real.
They are.
Because those tears are real because she said, and I was right. And then she comes on and says that she wasn't prepared for this today. And it makes her feel sad of all the other things in her life that she wasn't prepared for. Yeah. So the tears are real.
A lot of hardships that she's gone through.
And she is always like, she is always the odd one out. And she is always the one that people are like, what's wrong with her?
Yeah.
Why does she look that way? Or why does she act that way? Or,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And we celebrate your differences, Miss Carolyn.
Oh, for sure.
And we wish that dipshit in her JCPenney hat.
And her rat nest hair.
Oh, and the ratty hair. What's going on with that?
I don't know.
How?
I don't know.
Ew.
Oof.
Eek. It looks like there's just like the bugs from the other mission are just going to still be in there. They're going to come crawling out. So now we get to the votes, of course.
Oh, God.
Ivar votes for Carolyn.
I was so disappointed because he was suspecting Danielle.
But I think...
So once he got on Carolyn, I said, they're all going to vote for... A lot of them are going to vote for Carolyn.
But I had a little hope when Gabby voted for Danielle.
Yeah. So did I. So...
and Dolores voted for Tom.
Yes.
Because, and then Tom votes for Dolores.
Dolores, of course.
So stupid. Brittany votes for Carolyn.
And then Dylan.
And Dylan.
He was the deciding vote, and I did think he was going to vote for Danielle.
He would have. If it didn't happen at the mission, he would have.
Yeah, it would have.
And spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Carolyn is out.
Oh, wow.
Banished from the castle.
It really came out of nowhere. I was so not expecting this to happen.
I wrote in my own notes to myself, I am so sad. I hate Danielle.
I hate Danielle. I think we all do, even more.
Now let's talk about the shaking on the floor, the deranged act.
Oh, God.
The deranged shaking on the floor act.
Again, I wanted to throw something at the TV or just turn it off. I was so annoyed to
Was that the craziest?
She's a psychopath,
this
woman.
She's completely mentally deranged.
She's postal.
What was that?
No,
and I'm sorry, just that alone, that
and
sheer
a shitty actress. I'm sorry.
That sheer terror and fear, as if somebody was just murdered in front of her,
right?
Like for real murdered. Yeah, not like honey.
Oh my God,
the overacting. I mean, I don't understand.
And people were comforting her.
I know.
Like Dolores was like hovering over her.
She's like, "It's all right, honey."
Oh my God,
Dolores is like, "It's all right. You did good. You did good."
Oh. Please.
I'm like, come on, are we not seeing this? That was absolutely outrageous.
It was
horrible.
Outrageous. Yeah.
And Carolyn said she's proud of herself, and she should be. Well played, Carolyn.
Yes.
You should have won this whole shebang, baby.
And those cheers were genuine tears, and I was so sad for her.
I was too.
Yeah. It's like you never really root for a traitor, but you were rooting for this traitor.
Let's say this, Carolyn, to you, and directly to you, and hopefully you'll hear this at some point. Look at you. You were somebody who had an addiction problem.
Yeah.
You've kicked that. Mm-hmm. You've gone on television. You've made a name for yourself. You have stuck to your own self and had and all your quirkiness and all the great things about you.
Yep.
You've stuck to your guns. You've never been anything but yourself, and you're loved, and people love you. And look at where you are in life. You're crushing it.
Yeah.
So good for you, Mama.
And everyone is really sad to see you off.
Yes.
We wanted you to continue on the
and
show.
Your star is only going to keep rising. So keep being Carolyn and squash the Danielles of the world.
The snakes, the rats.
Remember, it is a game, of course, but it does bring up real issues for you. You know, you bring yourself to the game. I mean,
yes.
Right? And Gabby said, which we mentioned just a few minutes ago, that Gabby said the two of them fighting back and forth was giving Bob the Drag Queen and
Boston Rob
vibes.
The only thing that makes me happy is that now everyone's eyes are going to be on Danielle.
Right, well, hopefully. But I think it's the last episode. So
that would stink if it's the last episode.
It's the last or the second to last. So we'll see.
Okay.
And now, of course,
so
she gets to recruit.
Yes. I knew that was going to happen, and we know who she's going to choose.
Of course.
Yeah.
So she recruits, and if she says no, they're murdered. They meet in the dungeon.
Yes.
Brittany is summoned.
So if Brittany says no, then Brittany gets murdered right away.
But see, this is where I know that maybe Brittany is smart, because when she gets the order to go down and meet in the dungeon, she said, if it is Danielle, why would she pick me and recruit me? It's so obvious.
Yeah, I know.
Why would she do that?
Yeah.
Because Danielle's a
Not
dingbat.
Smart.
She's a dingbat.
She is a dingbat.
She has no strategy. Talk about.
If she had a semblance of a strategy, she would have chose Dylan.
Exactly.
That's who I was thinking. Okay,
because
if
she's
got
so
some wits about her, she'll choose Dylan. That's the obvious choice.
But she's so hell-bent on sharing this somehow with Brittany. Like, has she fallen in love with her over the
maybe.
What's happened? I don't know. So anyway, that's it for the Traitors.
Yeah.
I hope it's not the last episode. I hope, because I will be so sad.
I'm hoping there's 2 more. I'm hoping there's next week and the week after.
I will be so sad. Me too. And then, of course, you have the reunion always. But the reunions are never really that great because they happen so far after. And then it's like...
Something's jogging my memory now. I think that the last episode was going to be sometime in early March. And next week is the end of February.
It's early March.
So it might be 2 more episodes.
It's isn't it? Oh, okay. I hope so.
Yeah, I think.
I hope Alexa told me wrong.
Yeah.
Because I asked her and she was like, oh, there's only 10 episodes, and then the 11th would be. But I don't know. She could be wrong.
Okay, maybe.
Alexa's not the be-all, end-all.
She's not.
All right. So we will see you next week. The ladies are out from the living room.
Yes.
All right.
Till
Traitors.
next week.
Are you a traitor? Or are you a faithful? Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Goodbye.